Hello, and welcome to Up Close on METV. I'm Charles Clapsaddle, station manager for Manatee Educational Television, and it's our great privilege to have with us today a cultural icon in our community, and that's conductor Joey Silverstein. Mr. Silverstein, thank you so much for coming today and taking time out of your schedule to talk not only about your background and your significant career, but also about the upcoming Sarasota Music Festival.
Well, it's awfully nice for you to make it available.
Well, you know, when we had the opportunity to interview, we just jumped at the opportunity because your background is very extensive as a conductor, as a maestro. Tell us a little bit about your conducting background.
Well, actually, my background is more as a violinist than as a conductor. And as the concertmaster of the Boston Symphony Orchestra, I had to jump in on a couple of occasions in an emergency situation as a conductor, and it sort of led to my becoming the assistant conductor of the Boston Symphony, which then in turn led to being invited to be a guest conductor with a number of other major orchestras, as well as a violin soloist. And after my 29-year career with the Boston Symphony, I became the music director of the Utah Symphony Orchestra in Salt Lake City. I remained there for 15 years, and during that period, I really served as a guest conductor and soloist, violin soloist, with over 100 orchestras in this country, as well as in Asia and in Europe and in Israel.
And you know, it really significant achievements, you know, much sought after conductor and violinist as well.
Well, serendipity played a very large part in it, I must say, because the timing of the opportunities that came to me was something which I certainly could not have planned.
Well, you know, talent will out, you know, I believe, and, you know, being able to not only conduct, but the longevity of your career, you know, really indicates, you know, the caliber and the quality of what you bring to all of the orchestras that you've participated in.
Well, I've had a wonderful run with that, and probably the most significant part of my activities has been teaching, which I have, of course, been doing for many, many years, and happily have been able to see a number of my students have very, very prestigious careers.
And you know, having a mentor of your caliber with students, you know, coming through and learning it, you know, from you is only enhancing their career opportunities.
Well, I'm sort of paying back my early background, which was my father, who was a violin teacher. Who actually taught music in the Detroit public schools.
Oh, really?
So I'm a real product of public school music.
Well, you know, let's take a moment to talk about that because, you know, arts has been, you know, like an instrumental part of school systems for many years.
Yes.
And then when they always talk about budgets and everything, the arts and is always the first to, you know, to take a cut. You know, how important is it to you, you know, to have arts and music education in schools?
Well, I can give you one very specific example, which is in the Utah school system. A very, very dedicated woman, Trish Wade, found that there were a lot of violins in a warehouse in Ogden Public Schools. And she went to the Violin Making School of America, which happens to be in Salt Lake City. And they wanted those instruments because they wanted to have practice in repairing them and bringing them into playing condition. And she started a program where every 5th grade student in the North Ogden schools played the violin for 1 year. And they found that during that year, the social and learning skills of all of these children improved palpably. And that program has now gone into a couple of the schools that are called at-risk schools in some of the areas of Salt Lake City, and they've been enormously successful. And just the musical experience and the experience of the challenge of playing the violin has had a wonderfully positive effect on these kids. We've seen, of course, an enormous growth in the Suzuki system in this country, but at the same time, we've seen a diminution of public school music, and that's a tragedy because it is such an integral part of social and intellectual development, certainly as much as the sciences. And I hope that in the future, the importance of that will not be lost.
Well, Mr. Silverstein, I think that was very eloquently put, because, you know, arts and music education, I think, would play just as vital a part as science or engineering or math skills as well, because it really involves you in learning how not only to be disciplined and knowledgeable, but it also gives you that kind of insight into the beauty that music and art can bring.
Well, my wife was a gallery instructor at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston for a number of years, and among her duties, of course, were taking school children through the galleries of that wonderful museum. And of course, she had to go to the school and do preparatory work, and to see how the eyes of children looking at paintings by Monet were just absolutely opened to the beauties of those things. That they would not have been open to otherwise, other than that wonderful visit that they had with her.
And I think you're exactly right. Now, during your career, your illustrious career, which has taken you, you know, throughout the country, throughout the world as a conductor and as a violinist, you found that, you know, how music really is that catalyst to make people not only appreciate the beauty of the music, but also how instrumental it is in making a community kind of come together as well.
Yes, it has a wonderfully unifying effect. I think one of the charming examples is the fact that during the month of December, there are innumerable performances of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony in Tokyo. And one of them is in an enormous auditorium which seats over 5,000 people.
Wow.
And it is a sing-along where the audience joins with the chorus in singing the wonderful wonderful music of the last movement of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, and they actually have to have two satellite conductors on platforms that extend out into the auditorium to bring the whole thing together. I can't think of a more communal musical experience than that.
I think that's, you know, what a great opportunity, and be able to witness that and participate in it. Now, throughout your career, you know, you've always been involved with, as you said, you know, with teaching, and how important that is to be able to pass that knowledge and expertise on to others. And I'd like our audiences to know about your involvement here in this area with the Sarasota Music Festival, of which you've participated in for over 50 years.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And what a wonderful opportunity for this community to have a person of your caliber participate in that.
Well, it has been my pleasure, and it's been a wonderful opportunity for us to get to know the Sarasota community. We have actually been coming here for all of those years, and we do spend a large part of the winter here as well. And we've seen the incredible cultural development of this community. I mean, for example, the Sarasota Orchestra, which was the Florida West Coast Symphony, and it was a very, very good semi-professional orchestra under the dedicated leadership of Paul Wolf for so many years, and it has developed now into a professional orchestra, which frankly would be the envy of many much larger cities than Sarasota.
And that's very true. You know, the evolution and the growth and the development of the orchestra has really been a great boom for this entire area.
Oh, with their charming new music director, the audiences are very large, very enthusiastic, and I must say my wife and I enjoy these concerts very much. And this is in a listening experience for us, which includes the major orchestras of the world. The orchestras that come through at the Van Wezel and with the Sarasota Concert Association are not a patch on the Sarasota Orchestra at this point.
Wow.
So the people should be very proud of that, and the people of this community should be very proud of the longevity of the Sarasota Music Festival, which has been 3 weeks at the beginning of June, which is an ideal time for the most gifted students of schools such as the Curtis, Juilliard, New England Conservatory.
And I think, you know, if I may just mention here, that the music festival is in that short period. It's a 3-week period, and the most talented, the most gifted students apply to do that. And tell us a little bit about that application process, which is very intensive and it's very rigorous.
Well, there are several hundred who apply for the 60 spaces that we have. And the 60 include, of course, violin, viola, cello, string bass, and all of the woodwind instruments, and piano as well. So the hundreds of DVDs that are submitted to the faculty members, who then adjudicate these things and pick out the cream of this crop, which already is a very, very illustrious group of students. See, this time period comes right after the end of the winter semester, the spring semester, and is just before such important summer festivals as Tanglewood and Meadow Mount and the various very important summer festivals. And the summer program of Mr. Perlman as well. So the students of this festival have the opportunity to come together in chamber music and master classes with their peers from all of the other major music schools of the country and the world.
And what a great opportunity for these young students to be able to sit in an orchestral setting with very top faculty that from around the country that help participate in master classes as well. And some of the faculty that's participating are of such significance that they should be recognized.
Yes, well, we have, of course, principal players of many of the major symphony orchestras. I mean, the first violist, for example, of the Cleveland Orchestra, the former violist of the Cleveland Quartet, Ani Kavafian, who is a member, an artist member of the Chamber Music Society of Lincoln Center, as well as being on the faculty of Juilliard and Yale. We have had the first French horn player of the Dallas Symphony, as well as the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra. We have Charles Nadich, who is one of the preeminent clarinetists of the world. And among the violinists, James Oliver Buswell, as I mentioned, Ani Kavafian, the concertmaster of the Cincinnati Orchestra, Tim Lees, the concertmaster of the Dallas Symphony, Alex Carr, Tim Lee, the cellist of the Orion Quartet. It's really a very prestigious faculty, and of course, the artistic director, Robert Levin, is one of the world's reigning experts in the music of Mozart, as well as being a most sought-after solo pianist.
Well, I mean, with just the caliber and just those brief people, and plus the others that are involved in it as well, contribute significantly to the quality and the caliber of the performances. And having those young people participate with that echelon of musicians really kind of raises the bar. And it gives them that opportunity not only to enhance, but it augments their own talent.
Not only does it augment their own talent, but can I tell you, the feedback to the faculty is great. I find it very stimulating to have master classes when students of other prestigious teachers and other institutions come and play for us, and I have to articulate well enough for them to get some ideas from me, and in that process, it's a two-way street.
And I'm sure it is. And after all this period of time, it continues to grow, continues to nurture, and the audiences continue to grow as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We have 6 concerts during the 3-week, actually 9 concerts during the 3-week period. 3 of them are called Faculty Showcase, which are on Thursday afternoons in Holly Hall.
Which is the rehearsal space for the orchestra.
And then the Friday and Saturday concerts are 6, which are in the Opera House, which are concerts that are combined orchestral and chamber music concerts involving the faculty and the students.
And that's got to be just a wonderful experience. And people can find out information by going to the website or calling the administration office.
Excuse me.
That's quite all right. And of the Sarasota Orchestra, and we're going to put that information up on the screen.
Good.
And we would encourage people to participate and to find out about which concert that they would love to go to, and to see which performance, because they're all different performances.
Yes,
Is
the
that
programs
correct?
are all different, and not only are the performances available, but people can get a pass to come to the master classes and observe the teaching process. They can observe chamber music coaching as well as solo master classes.
That would be very
so
interesting to see that one-on-one or that student mentor relationship throughout. So, and those passes are available through the Sarasota
Absolutely.
Orchestra as well.
Yes, and those are at the orchestra center where Holly Hall is.
Well, I think the combination of the events that the music festival puts together really does a great deal to enhance that love of music and that cultural diversity that Sarasota is known for. Well, one of the things I did want you to take a moment to talk about is the caliber of the students that participate. These are young people from schools throughout this area, throughout this region, who want to participate. What can you tell us about, over your 50 years of participating, what can you tell us about those students and that caliber of students that participate in this program?
Well, to give you an idea, several of our faculty members are alumni of the Sarasota Music Festival. When the Sarasota Music Festival had started out and it was just a new college, before the Orchestra Center was built, I coached a string quartet, and 3 of the members of that string quartet are now on our faculty.
You've got to be very proud of that.
Timothy Eddy, the cellist, Anika Vafian, the violinist, and Robert Vernon, who was the first violist of the Cleveland Orchestra. So the 3 of them were part of a string quartet that I coached at that time. You've
got to be so proud of them.
Yes, not only proud, but of course wonderfully happy to have them as colleagues.
Yeah. And that is just an example of the quality and the caliber of the people. But also, I think having that dedicated faculty that's doing master classes, that's working one-on-one with sections of participants, really enhances that student's opportunity to learn and to become better at their instrument.
Well, we have 2 recent alumni, one of whom Noah Bendix-Bagley, who is starting out as concertmaster of the Berlin Philharmonic.
Wow.
And another one who has already been, for 3 years, the concertmaster of the Atlanta Symphony. So, I mean, this is no small stuff.
It's very impressive.
Yes, these kids have done extraordinarily well.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that that people like, and Sarasota, and you've been coming here and participating for 50 years, is Sarasota and Manatee are known for their cultural inclusion. They have a very dedicated theater area. Music is much appreciated. Why is it important for you and for the Sarasota Orchestra to try to maintain this music festival and have it grow and develop?
Well, what it does actually, it extends the cultural year. The cultural year is defined in many ways by the snowbird season.
It's true.
And to have this extended for local residents, people who are full-time Sarasotans, and a lot of friends of ours who are residents of the Berkshires because of Tanglewood and the theater which exists there, come back in June to spend time going to the concerts of the Sarasota Music Festival. So it is an extension of the cultural opportunities that exist here in Sarasota and Manatee counties.
And I think that's a wonderful opportunity, because it then becomes like a year-round, almost a year-round type of thing. We can enjoy the theater, you can enjoy this, but also the music festival has really grown. It's really developed over the time that you've been involved.
Well, it's considered one of the most prestigious teaching festivals in the world. We have students from everywhere. And I do have to mention one thing. There are a lot of Sarasotans coming to the Berkshires this summer because they're coming up when the Sarasota Ballet comes to Jacob's Pillow.
That's a significant achievement.
We're very excited about that.
And the ballet has certainly been gotten all kinds of accolades over the past few years. But this year is significant because they are traveling and they will be performing up in the Berkshires.
Yes, at Jacob's Pillow, which puts them in the company of such people as Mark Morris and the Hubbard Street Group and the soloists of the New York City Ballet. I mean, it's a very prestigious thing, and it just points to the fact that Sarasota is an enormous cultural center.
And continues to be. If we can go back for a moment to the series of symphony, or the series of performances that the music festival is going to do. There's 6 full concerts and there's 3 master concerts or master faculty concerts.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
And when you wanted to participate, can you go to just one, or can you buy a
They're
series?
also individually ticketed. You can pick the programs you wish to hear. I think that each program is designed to be very attractive. The faculty showcase have become very popular, the Thursday afternoon concerts, because it's a chance for each member of the faculty to appear in a solo role.
What a great opportunity.
And then, of course, the faculty and the students participate together, not only in chamber music, but in orchestral settings on Friday and Saturday at the Opera House.
I think that's a wonderful opportunity. So if somebody wanted to look into participating, they could go to the website or give a call to the Sarasota Orchestra, and we'll have those information up on the screen. They can go to 1, they can go to 2, they can go to all 6,
they can go to 9, they can go to 6.
As many different as they want.
Exactly. They can actually pick it on the basis of the music that's on that program that's most attractive to them.
And I'm sure also that you get a lot of other students who would like to come and watch these performances and see what their peers are doing
I just recently was a judge on a competition here in Sarasota by the Artist Concert Series, given by the Artist Concert Series for young musicians from Florida. And I must tell you that the caliber of young players that we heard in that competition was very high.
No. And it's so encouraging too, for music. And as you mentioned earlier, you are the product of a public school, and fortunately, your career led you to travel all over the world in the United States to perform and conduct. But now you're here and you're giving that talent and ability and expertise to see others flourish. And that's really a commendable feat for you, sir.
That's I must tell you that when the students thank me, I tell them, don't thank me, because what you're giving back to me in stimulation for a mature musician. I'm very grateful for that.
Well, it's got to be very rewarding when you see a young person, who has the opportunity to learn from you or to listen to you, and then say, well, Mr. Silverstein, thank you so much for sharing. It's got to be that wonderful feeling of just being thankful that you're able to impart that little bit of wisdom for that next generation.
And also to help them to avoid some of the pitfalls that I've experienced over the years of my development because I was not warned about them.
Yeah, and that's very true.
And as I tell my students, I think probably the best thing that I can do for them is to make their practicing more efficient.
Well, to have the opportunity, and you've mentioned some of the faculty, for these young people to come and sit and learn and participate with, the highest echelon of musicians throughout the country is such a rewarding thing. We're kind of winding down a little bit, Mr. Silverstein, and I just want to, go over a couple of things. First of all, the prestige that you bring to this event, the Sarasota Music Festival, is unequaled. To be able to have somebody of your caliber, experience, and success be able to share that with students year after year and year after year is certainly a significant thing, not only for the students, but for this community. And for that, you should really be commended, because it takes a great deal of effort through the thing, because you are so caliber and quality oriented that you want the very best for this community. One last question for you, sir. If people come there, can they find out a little bit about the other programs that the orchestra is going to be performing throughout the course of the year?
Absolutely. This festival is really part of the total picture of the Sarasota Orchestra, which, as I say, has really grown not only in size but in quality, and just in a wonderfully rapid and gracious way. The fact that the festival is part of that that whole
Outreach.
picture is just an example of the outreach of the Sarasota Orchestra.
Well, I would say, first of all, to have 9 concerts available during that 3-week period from June, the beginning of June, till about end of June,
21st,
1st through the 21st, is a wonderful opportunity for people. Young, old, you can just come and enjoy it and do that. It's a wonderful opportunity, and we would encourage people to participate at any level that they would want, whether they just want to come to one performances or other. And we look forward to perhaps having you back with maybe a couple of your students to talk about the success that they have.
Love to bring some of the kids and have them articulate what their experience is with the festival.
Well, and to thank you for all your help. And one final question for Mr. Silverstein, and again, great thanks for doing this. As a conductor, for many years, at all levels, large orchestras, symphonies that you participated, what is that one thing that you want people to take away, not only from a concert, but from these concerts, from the Sarasota Music Festival? What is it that you'd like for them to take away?
Well, I think the most important thing for us to communicate as performers is what music does for us emotionally, to communicate our love of the art.
And that's just beautifully said. Mr. Silverstein, I want to thank you very much. We encourage people to go and participate and to find out more about the Sarasota Music Festival by going to the website or giving us a call and find out how music can really be an effective way to open up your world.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed our conversation very much.
And thank you, sir. And thank you for joining us on this special edition of Up Close on METV. For additional information about the Sarasota Music Festival, please go to the website or give a call and see how you can enjoy this wonderful festival in Sarasota. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on METV.